Yeah. Shaba, your smile is great. I'm afraid it will not be there.
Ah, shit.
Good. So let's go through. I scheduled that for 90 minutes. We were done yesterday within an hour. So, and we had the Stepan with more questions. So we made it. We made it within an hour. So I believe that for today it will be also in an hour. So if you have any questions, as we are a small group, just ask them, or you can just put any questions into the chat, and I'm going to read it.
Okay.
So the first of all, the global law trials are applied after the 1st of August this year, and it's applied for all competitions starting after this day. Within the Czech Rugby Union on all levels. The reason for this global trials was mainly the safety and welfare for the players, and there were about 4 of these 5 areas were focused for the players' welfare. So it's now paramount for the World Rugby to have a player in the first mind. 2 of the variants, they were trialed in Super Rugby and the Rainbow Cup. That was the 50-22 and the goal line dropout. And the remaining 3 variants, they were proposed by breakdown working group. So which is group consisted from the people from World Rugby who are involved in decision making, not only World Rugby. First of all, I have questions on you on polls. So I have first 2 questions. So if you can answer them, and as we are a small group, it will be very fast. So I want to know whether you went through and you read the documents and the video, and whether it is clear for you to understand and or not. So if you can just pick your choices. Okay, so it seems that all of you are answered. 4, good. Okay. So there is someone who answered twice, maybe, because I didn't answer at all, but it's fine. So yeah, I'm happy that you read it. At least half of the group read it, half read it and seen the video, and it's more or less clear, and that's good information. That's good information for you. So here you can see the results as it goes. So happy for this results. So let's go for the laws. And I have another question. So there are 5 of them, and I want to know which one is the easy to understand and which one is the worst to understand for you. As all of you went through, so I think it would be easy to answer. Okay, good. Yeah, one more. Goal line dropout. Okay, that's a little bit different. What was yesterday? Yeah, the 50-22 was yesterday. Also appointed as the easiest one, but for the second, the worst to understand was the either the juggler or the player triaged. So yeah, here are the results. So as you answered today, so you can see that it's more or less 50-50. It is 50-50 on the first 2, and then the worst scenario. It's a little bit split. Good. Then it's good for me to know what is your what are your fears. So let's go to to the point. So the 50-22, and that's I would say that this is the really the easiest one. So that means that the players, if they kick from inside their half of the pitch, and the ball goes indirectly into touch in opponent's 22 area, then the kicker team, the kicking team is throwing into the line out. The good information that free throwing is possible, but it would be very, very tricky to make it. But the option is here and it's possible. So all the referees needs to be aware. And the same as for the return to 22 for the kicking into touch applies here. So the ball cannot be taken back into the their own half and immediately kicked. If the ball is brought back on their own half and they want to use the 50-22 option, then there must be a tackle, ruck, maul, or touched by opponents. It's not pretty clear here whether the player should be touched or the ball should be touched, but it's written like a touch. Maybe there will be further explanation. The reason for this law is to create a space for the attacking team, and the attacking team, the defending team, they should bring at least one or two players back into their back line. So make sure that if there will be any kick like 50-22, then they can defend it, and they are not giving the opportunity for the attacking team to get their line out. So that's the reason behind this law. I have some examples here. So yesterday it works, and I hope it will be working today as well. You can see that's the bounce kick from their own half into the 22, and it's very easy to get their own line out. So that was the easy, and here you can see how difficult it is to cover the space. So I will try it again. So you can see that there is no one, the player is missing, and then they got the chance to get through. So that was the first example, and the second example, which I have here, is from the midfield spaces, so where there is a tackle in the midfield, and you can see that the kick from the fly half is going directly into the 22. Bounce. It can bounce anywhere. It doesn't mean it needs to bounce in 22. It can bounce anywhere. It must be indirect, and then it goes to the line out, and the team throws in. Alejandro. So we have another one here. It's the midfield track open. So you can see again that they use this availability, and that would be one of the great attacking part of the game. So it depends. We will see how the teams will adapt within the Czech competitions. But if they will have a good number 10 with a good eyes, then they can save a lot of energy and lots of time going through the pitch. And then there is, I'm not going to go through each of them because you can have an access on it. So then there is this one where there is for the defense. So there is a long kick to move it, and then they kick it back, and you can see that the kickback was quite nice. So that's that means that if the ball is kicked forward, that means that always there should be someone who stays back and cover the area. What you can see that the kicks are kicked a little bit different. They are low kick, and they are not the big ones anymore. So this is also demanding for the kicker hit the touchline properly. So is there any question to the 50-22?
Yes, Csaba speaking. Yes, it means that if we have a direct kick, it's like before, it's a line out from the line of the kick.
Yes.
And if they kick it from their own half to their own half, it's not going to the other half. It's the opponent try or the defender line out. Just to make sure.
I'm not sure whether I got it correctly, but if they brought the back on their own half, so they will be behind, they pass it back and the player kicks it into the touch. It will be the touch, but the defending team will throw in.
Yes, I'm talking about that if they pass it back and there is a tackle, rack and maul, or touch by the opponent, and then they kick it like from the own 22, but it's not going through the line of the halfway line. It's going touch in the kicker own half. It's also the defender line out.
It's normal line out. It's as it was until now.
Just to I want to to highlight the responsibility of the assistant referee on our games, who will be when the ball is very close to the halfway line, land it to the halfway line.
Yes, that's similar to the 22-meter line, and
yes.
That's also demanding on the referees to make sure that they know where the ball is and where the ball was before. So this is something what the referees also must be aware, because this is a new situation where the referees needs to be aware where we are on the pitch.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is a 50-22. So let's go to the other one, which is a goal line dropout. And it's very important to mention that the reason for this trial, the reason for this trial is to avoid unnecessary time spending with the scrums, which is delaying the game. And we all know that each scrum is about 40 seconds or nearly a minute, which is not playing time. So to make the game more entertaining and reduce also the scrum offenses, or reduce by reducing the scrums, it's only applied in 3 situations. So whatever is ours is not mentioned here, then it stays as it is, or as it was until now. So these 3 situations are: the ball is played or brought into the in goal by attacking team and is held up. So that's the first situation. Then the attacking team kicks into the in goal, and the ball is grounded or made dead by the defending team. The kick is a kick from open play, not kickoff, not restart kick, not drop goal, not a penalty at goal. And the third one is when the attacking player knocks the ball in the opponent's in goal, within the opponent's in goal. So in these 3 situations, we have a goal line dropout. All the rest remains as it is until now. That means, so how the goal line dropout is proceeded, its opponents must move to the 5 meter line. The 5 meter line is called sanction line, and the ball can be dropped anywhere on the goal line, can be kicked anywhere on the goal line from the post to the post or the flag post, and the ball must cross the 5 meter line. If the ball doesn't cross the 5 meter line, then these are the options as in the 22 meter dropout. So it's either repeat or scrum, and the scrum is on the center. Yeah, that's the answer now. Erika asked the question. So when there is an option and the scrum will be avoided, it will be in the center, like we have in the dropout from 22. So here is a summary. What is still the 22 meter dropout? So it's when the unsuccessful penalty or a drop goal is kicked through the in goal and goes into the touch or behind the dead ball line, or is made dead. So that's one. Then we have a 22 meter dropout, or the kick is in general play or penalty or free kick, and is kicked through the in goal, and the opponents choose the 22 meter dropout instead of scrum. As an example, the kick could be from within the 22 meter, within 22, and they choose the dropout rather than scrum. And also, when the ball is brought by attacking player into the in goal, and the defender gains the possession of the ball and makes it dead. So the player with the ball gets into the in goal, it's robbed. The ball is robbed from the hands of that player, and then it's grounded. And the last option for the 22 meter dropout is when there is a kickoff or restart kick after the points, and the ball goes into the in goal. A defender doesn't make the ball dead immediately. So that's the long kick from the kickoff into the in goal. The ball is not immediately grounded. It's picked by the player, make some steps, and then he grounded. Then we have a 22 meter dropout. And here we have like the picture. So the picture is, you can see that the kick is taken anywhere on the line. The players, they can charge the kick, but not closer than 5 meters. They are not allowed to cross the 5 meters. And so the only options where we have a scrum on the 5 meter is when the ball is brought back to the in goal by defender and grounded, and when the defender or defending team, they make a knock-on. So these are the only two options when we have a scrum in 5 meters from in goal area. If the knock-on is before the in goal line, sorry, the goal line, then of course we have a scrum on 5 meter as well. Okay, is that clear? Hopefully yes. Then we have some more video here. So this first one is held up. So they get the blue get into the in goal, but is held up clearly. So there is a 22. There is a goal line dropout, and you can see already the player with the ball who is running with the ball. So this will be demanding for the referees, also for the players who are who are trying to score the try, and then they need to return and get in position because they can play anywhere, and they should also start or kick without any delay. So they should kick like within the 22. So you can see that's the example how this was restarted. And then the blue, they have again the chance to get into the second option or second try to get into the in goal, and they get there. So that doesn't always mean, and you can see that within the 1 minute, we were able to see to restart the play. We have seen a play and we have seen a try. If there will be a scrum, I think that at this time we will get the ball out of the scrum. So that's here we can see the difference in applying this law. And it's also the reason why what they want to achieve by this law is also to force the attacking team to use a different variety or variations of the attacking, not always going through the big back into the in goal, then because that doesn't mean the scrum, but also use some more hand skills looking for the gap. You can see that there is less players involved and they are more available. So we don't see here where the ball is. Everything will happen in goal is outside the law. Yeah, I think this one is going to held up, 22 dropout. What I want to show you as well is that's from the knock-on, which is here. You can see the knock-on within the in goal. So the knock-on within the in goal, which is clear here, dropped, and you can see immediately how they start to play. You see that the green ones, they are a little frustrated, and the black ones, they start immediately, and you can see that they were able to utilize this option or this possibility for a try. To be honest, I don't want to be a referee this game. It's just a long run after the 60 minutes. As the TMO escape. So this is the kick into the in goal. So you can see that the ball gets into the in goal. If this player grounded, then it's a dropout. You can see he's waiting for his teammates to return. So all the players, they need to be behind the ball or behind the ball, unless otherwise they cannot join the play. So you can see that it also takes some time. Clearly, he was waiting for the time maybe, and now you can see a long kick out of their own house. And as this law also changed the approach to the teams to the play. So you can see how they managed to get out from the in goal. Usually, if this will happen, or this was happening in the past, then they will ground it easily. But these two players, they just try to play out of their in goal because there were only two there. The question mark is whether it was a good decision or not, but they just save some space. And they gave the time for the teammates to return back. So these are the options, and the other one is always the same. So this was about the in-goal dropout. So are there any questions related to the in-goal dropout? Okay, it seems not. So let's just remind only in 3 situations the goal line dropout happened. So if the referees remain or keep that in their mind, then it will be much more easy. So the next situation is the flying wedge. The flying wedge is or was forbidden for many years, and it was forbidden after the penalty kicks close to the in goal to avoid the players running from far. But now it's also forbidden in open play. So how the flying wedge is now in the definitions. So it can be there are 1 player with the ball and 2 players who are latched or binded to the player. The definition says on each side of the ball carrier in a wedge formation. However, the explanation or the guidance is any formation. So it can be, because if some teams will read that to the last word, then they will create the 1 player with the ball in front, and the 2 they will be on one side, and then it's not as they mentioned. So any formation, you can see it in the circle in the picture that there is a ball carrier who is in front, and then you have 2 players who are bind to this player, and they are formed before the opponents. The reason for this amendment is to save the tackler, because the tackler is now charged with the 3-man power, so that's reduced now only to the 2-man power maximum, and they want to avoid some unnecessary injuries. This situation is not intended to be used at the line out. So if there's a line out and more created after the line out, which is the similar situation as described above, this is not called flying wedge, and it's legal. We can play with that. So after the line out, this is not flying wedge. And again, we have some video which clearly shows what is going to happen. So there's a ball carrier who is in front, and you have 2 other players who are helping him to push. I'm not sure whether I have seen that in the Czech competition at all, but usually there were some. One player was there, definitely. I'm not sure about 2. And here we can see again. So they call it mini scrum. So there is a player with the ball and 2 other players who help him to push through. So that was the women's game, and here we have several examples in the men's game. So you can see a couple of them. They pre-engaged. They got the ball, and they are ready to get through, and they pushed. And again, 3 and 3. It's very well organized in this video, so you can see that the teams are well organized. So flying wedge, is there any question to the flying wedge, or is flying wedge clear? Okay, I take a silence as a clear, and no question in the chat at all, so we can move. And that's this 1 player per watch. The translation to Czech about the lecture was not an easy. At this moment, I'm calling him připojený, because I want to avoid call bind, which is used for other situations. So I call him připojený, like preloaded. So in this situation, there is one player with the ball and only one player which can bind on him prior to contact. So that just follow the previous picture or previous law. And this player who is binding on the ball carrier, he has to comply with all requirements for the first arriving player. And the main one, they have to stay on their feet, which is very important, and that will change the game or the approach of the teams very much. And also for the referees, it's very important to pay attention on these players, because we were not very strict about these players. Even as you can see on the video which we have, there were too many situations where the players are clearly lying over the ball and sealing off. And one more thing, that the latcher must not be in front of the ball carrier. That's obstruction. So there's some videos which, the first one is about the obstruction. So number 21, the first occasion is fine, but the second occasion, in the second tackle situation, the ball carrier is behind the latcher. So the 21 is in front, and the red player, he cannot tackle. So this is clear obstruction. Now you can see the number 10 red, he cannot tackle because there is a player between him and the ball carrier. I think that it could be penalized already under current laws, but as the referees, they were not pointed to that situation, they didn't pay attention very much. So, and here we can see the blue number 3. She's protecting the ball clearly. You see, she's off her feet. She's on the ground. She's not in the strong position. So that's called, it's sealing off. She's protecting the fair contest for the ball. And we have 2 more. And this is a pretty clear. You see the blue players, blue 18, and the blue is the black helmet. They sealing off, and the signal of the referee is very clear: stay on your feet. And with this, they clearly hide the ball for the juggler, who was not allowed to get to the ball because the ball was blocked by the players off their feet. I think that this one are important, so we can go through all of them. And you see the number 1, he was off his feet again, sealing the ball, and he's penalized. And this is something what we need to pay attention a lot, and the players will spend lots of time to learn this technique, because it will completely change what they learned up until now. And there is one good contest as well. Yeah, this one. That's the last one. And this is the good contest. So there is a lecturer who is the player. The player go to the ground, and the 2 players who were latched on him, or the 1 player who was latched on him, and his teammate who joined, they are staying on their feet and they are pushing the opponents away. This is a good technique which need to be trained by the players for now. And here is the same, or it's a similar situation as for referees. We need to clearly identify why the players went to the ground. And this situation shows it clearly because the players go to the ground after they pushed away the opponents. So this shouldn't be penalized. They are staying on their feet. Now they are pushing through, and they went through because there was no opposition. There was no opposition which they get through. You can see they are formed information. Then they pushed away the red player, and they fall over the ball. This is not the sealing off. This is good way how to play in these situations. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the one player privileged. And the last law which is here is the Juggler Clean Out. So in this situation, this law is created for the safety of the tackler, of the player who picked the ball. So that's the teammate of the tackler who arrived at the tackler. This wording is not good here. I just made some typo. So that's the first player who gets for the ball. And this player is very often cleaned out by forcing to their lower limbs, which is now not allowed. So what they want to avoid are the knee injuries or lower limb injuries from this situation. And very often these offending players, they are entering illegally from the side, but this is a foul play, and it should be also dealt as a foul play. Means that we can also use the yellow and red cards if necessary. There was some rumor in before because for not native speaker it was not pretty clear, but some explanation arrived. So the player may lever the juggler out of the contest at the rack, and the only requirement, he does so or she does so without touching the head and neck, and also without putting any force into the lower leg. So the crocodile or gator roll is still allowed, but must be clear, or must be inside. So I will show you some examples. I will start with the back examples. So here we have an example of the blue player who you can see how he gets into the white 21. From here, it's pretty clear. You can see how he put his weight on the lower leg of the white player. So it just caused the injury because he was in the right standing position, and he got the force from the side, which is not pretty safe for the player. So this is a full play, and shall be penalized. Here is again, so 19, and the Harlequins player, he gets to the 19 number, and he put his weight onto the lower limb of the helmet player. This is a full play now. And we have one more. This is the worst one, I can say, or the worst one from the three. So the black player gets from the side and hits directly to the leg of the red player. You can see that not clearly from here, but from the other angle you will see that clearly watch it. So that's this player gets to the directly hits his knee, and the red player, the game is over. So I had the opportunity to trial it on the weekend where Praga played Tatra. For the referee's point of view, we have to focus. I didn't get the proper understanding, but now it's more clear. But so we have to watch where the player is attacking. So that's very important. I will show you now the good examples, how they go through. Okay, here you could see Alan Wynne Jones for the cleaning. It was a good cleaning. So he is above, he helped the player, he doesn't put his weight on the lower limbs, and that's it. And this one, yeah, that's not a, it's very unlucky. They both went a very low, good position, and sometimes it's not possible. So there was a head-to-head contact, which is dangerous, but there was nothing very much wrong. And here we have a Juggler levered. You can see the white player, he just tackle him or just roll him around the arm, but under the armpits, and pull the player off the situation, but didn't put any weight on his lower legs. And this is also one which shows it clearly. The white 12 is in position to roll or move away the player, the opposition player, to clean the tackle situation or the rack situation. Okay, so these are the examples. Here there are some foreplays which I was not sure how the video will work, so it's prepared. So that's the foreplay. You can see that player putting his weight on the leg of the player, and here is a direct contact into the knee of the player who is not prepared for this situation. The first thing, this black player, he went from the side, so there was a penalty for side entry. Secondly, this player gets to the player with the full play, so the full play offense is here, not the side entry, or you can mention the play. And these are the good examples which we have seen now. So, are there any questions or any comments?
What was the question yesterday from the other group? Is there any question for these situations?
Let me check. What were the questions yesterday? I didn't print them out.
Because it looks okay for me, but it would be good to see.
Let me check. It's here. Here are the questions from yesterday. So the question, the first one was it's a questions related to the 50-22, and the question was if the kicker, how was it? And there was some question if the ball bounces somewhere else, or whether the ball is behind the 10 meters. So it was, there was a question whether it is only us on the picture or whether it can be on the full half. So it's on the full half, so they can kick even from their 22, and it's valid. And whether the ball, so that was the question, and if it bounces if it bounces first on the 10-meter line, and then it goes into the 22. So the question was whether the ball can bounce anywhere else. It can bounce anywhere. So it's the only requirement is indirect into touch.
Okay.
So the second question was, yeah, that's answered now. And there was a question about the touch of opponents by 50-22. Yeah, that's touch. The touch. I think it's the opponent needs to touch the ball, not the player. So touch the ball. Yeah, that's the question about what is your own half. Yeah, if they kick from the 22, there was a Nicola question. If they kick from their own 22, whether it is still their own half. Yes, it is. And the question of Hera, that was question relating to the in-goal goal line dropout. By when you have an option for the 22 dropout. So we already went through the points where there is a 22 dropout. I think it was too fast for the question. And the question of Tony was if the ball is kicked into the in-goal and it's the defender picks the ball and bring it behind the dead ball line. And so they made it dead, and it's a goal line dropout. And I think that was lost in the translation in Czech version because there was not mentioned that they will make the ball dead. It was only grounding. So any situation, even they can also kick it out. And there was a question from which categories, for which categories this will be applied. It will be applied for all levels of the game.
Yes.
And it will apply also for sevens. And that would be very interesting. On the other hand, there was a question about the under 12, which are not starting with the lineout. They're starting with the tap and go. And if they will apply 50-22, I guess they will not apply 50-22 in the under 12, but I will leave that on the commission for else to decide. And these are the all questions.
Okay.
We have some more question in here. So the question from Erika: cards, if Juggler is attacked dangerously, cards? Yes, could be. I'm not. Yeah, I think that the last example, I think that was directly to the knee, yes. And at least a yellow card, and could be.
Could be red.
Could be red. Yes. This one could be red because there is no arm. It's just to the leg. It's to the limb and to the joint. So it's it could be red as well.
Yes, I agree.
And I have some resources for you, which I used, and for English-speaking people. And most of this presentation I took from them is from USA Rugby webinar, which was held last week, and it's available on the YouTube, and you can listen it. There is a player, or there is a coach, there is a referee, player, and there is an international referee, Angus Gardner, who is explaining the reasons. So it's about one hour or 70 minutes video. So you can go through and listen, and I will share this presentation as well with you.
Okay, thank you.
So, any more questions?
I have one more questions.
Go ahead.
What is the ruling if the in-goal dropout goes out on the other in-goal? It is very unlikely, but it could happen. Or the ball goes into the in-goal area and the opponent makes it dead. What is the ruling?
Okay. Let's start with the first one. If the goal goes behind the dead ball line from the goal line dropout, so it's the similar as a 22-meter dropout. So if it is, that's the option is scrum for the. There are two options for the receiving, non-kicking team, and it's either repeat or scrum on the center of the sanction line, which is the 5-meter line in this case. If the ball goes into the in-goal and then it's grounded, then it's answered here. Sorry, the second point. No, sorry, it's the.
I think it is depending on the action of the non-kicking team player, if he grants it immediately or not.
Correct. That's the kickoff arrest. That's the last point. That's the last point. Kickoff or restart kick goes into the in-goal, and the defender does not make it dead immediately.
But this is not a kickoff or a restart kick. It's an in-goal. It is an in-goal dropout.
It is deemed as a restart kick.
Mm-hmm.
It's the current wording for this is.
I thought that the restart kick is after a score.
They call it dropout. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right, Ben said, but I think it's the same. They call it the dropout. And I think it's described somewhere here. So they call it other restart kicks. So they currently call it other restart kicks. So it's similar as a restart. So I will not make it very much complicated. So I will go for the scrum if the opponent's grounded immediately.
Okay.
And the one more point: if the ball goes directly into touch, so then we have 4 options, and they are highlighted here. So that's the dropout is retaken, then or scrum is formed, or line out or quick throw in. If there is a line out, the line out is on the sanction line. It's on the 5-meter line. It can be closer. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Goal line dropout, positioning of the ARs. Good question, Eriko. Positioning of the ARs would be similar to 22 dropout, I would say. But it depends on the teams, because I do expect with this goal line dropout, I do expect longer kicks somewhere to the halfway line. It's not like in 22 dropout where we have a closer kicks to get a chance to receive the ball. So I think that it must be variable, and I don't have an exact guidance at this point. But I would put one. The leading one should be somewhere on the halfway line, between the 10 meters and halfway line, and the one who is following somewhere between 5-meter line and 22. But we will see, because there is the championship, the rugby championship starts this weekend, and as this is the competition starting after the August the 1st, it will be played, so we can watch the referees.
Yeah. And also my point is not the positioning after this situation. I think it's important before, because we don't have a TMO or extra support, and after the held up is this in-goal kick out or kick off, drop out. That's why as an assistant, we have to be on the spot when the ball is going into the in-goal with the player when they are attacking, to see that it's held up or grounded, or because it's.
And there can be two positions, either held up or grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to decide who is grounding. So it's not, and then we have to adapt. And you are right. We have to be very much focused on this area, even as a referees. And yeah. What is very important here as well, don't be prepared for the defenders to start the game immediately. Yeah, we don't have the extra 30 seconds to take a breath. We need to watch the players. What are they doing?
Yes, I agree.
Especially the ball carrier.
And if they doesn't release the ball, where is the penalty kick? In the center of the 5-meter line.
Who doesn't release the ball?
After when a head-up ball is taken.
Oh, you mean delaying the penalty?
Yes, we should avert the penalty kick.
And that's the point here. A dropout must be taken without delay, but that's for the kicker. And there is also mentioned for the
ball carrier.
For the ball carrier somewhere, but I don't think it's there. Then the penalty. I think every penalty or free kick should be on the center of the 5-meter line. It's similar like with the 22-meter dropout.
Because this will be a very new for the attacking players, and they will not release immediately the ball. They will hold up the ball and.
Yeah, true. Good point.
And that's why we have to manage it.
Good point.
In the beginning, we have to give them time to release the ball and give it to the opponent, and then. But
to be honest, we will see with the first trial games.
Yes.
And then we need to take some actions if needed.
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions? So if there are no more questions, then I'm going to stop the recording now. So here are the resources. So if USA Rugby webinar, if there are any questions, SRR Rugby Union CZ, we will try to answer. And now I'm stopping the recording.